All right, today class, we're going to continue to look at the abstract class. In a previous video, we went over the ideas behind how an abstract class works, but now we're going to go over the abstract class. We're going to be looking at a subclass of the abstract class and then a client. So let's go ahead and let's take a peek at these and how they work. All right, so the abstract class, so remember it can have fields and constructors. I'm sorry, pause. Let me go back to the top. So to define an abstract class, you say public abstract, then class, and the name of the class. That word abstract is what defines this as an abstract class. So they can have fields and constructors. Remember, the purpose of the constructors is so you can initialize your fields through your subclasses, because your subclasses will call these abstract class constructors. Because we're not going to call these constructors through the normal way in which we call constructors. In other words, we're never going to say new abstract class and then send some sort of parameter. We're never going to do that, because we can't do that with abstract classes. So in an abstract class, we can have concrete methods, which is what you're familiar with. Concrete methods, they've got your header and the body, so they're just like what you've been doing previously. An abstract class can also have abstract methods. Now, this is the new concept here. So an abstract method is just the header, and we define it by saying, the access modifier, and then abstract, and then the rest of it returns the name of it and the parameters, and then we end it with a semicolon. So in our subclasses, this is where we're actually going to define what these methods do. We've just set up the idea of what they return and what parameters you send, but again, in the subclasses, this is where we're going to define what they do. Now, don't forget, in an abstract class is where you have, the fact that it's, I'm sorry, let me restart what I was trying to say. So, sorry, in an abstract class, a class is, sorry, man, I can't get my thoughts straight. An abstract class is abstract, has to be abstract, if you have one or more abstract methods in it. We can have a class be abstract even if I don't have abstract methods. All right, so let's look at the next class. This is the subclass of our abstract class. Okay, so in this one we have a public class sub of AC. That's the name of our class, and it extends our abstract class. Now notice I didn't use the word abstract here, because this class is going to be concrete. So it's not going to have any abstract methods in it. All right, so we can have additional fields, and we can have constructors like usual. Now, in these constructors, again, they work just like your normal subclass constructors. So the first thing we always do is call the superclass constructor. And again, we're calling those constructors because since we're in a subclass, we want to initialize our superclass fields. That's why we're calling our superconstructors. And don't forget, this works just like a normal subclass-superclass relationship, where I'm okay to not call the no parameter superconstructor. That will happen by default if there is a no parameter superconstructor in our superclass, which there is. But generally, we don't like to rely on default behavior. We want to make sure our behavior is defined. Okay. Now, in our subclass here, I didn't overwrite any methods. So our abstract class had two methods that were concrete, toString and toStuff. So in our subclass, remember, it inherits those methods. So it has a toString, it has a doStuff method, but I didn't overwrite them. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to overwrite our abstract methods, do something and do more. So I'm going to make those methods concrete. So you'll notice the header is the same. It's just now I've given it a body. So I'm defining how the method's going to work, the behavior of the method. But again, the header is the same. So again, if you look at this, abstract void do something, abstract string do more. So that has remained the same. All right, so there's our subclass. Again, you can add additional methods if you want in your subclass. I could have overwritten the toString method and doStuff method. Now let's look at our client. So in our client, inside of our main, we've got a couple of objects. We're creating some sub objects here, and they're calling, I'm testing all three different constructors of our subclass. Then I've got here, I've created an abstract class reference, which refers to a subclass object. I can do that. I can have these references, and inside of these will always refer to a subclass, because I can't do this here, which I commented out. I can't create this reference to an object of an abstract class, because you can't construct your abstract objects. And then here I'm just testing all the stuff. So I'm testing the toString, doStuff, do something, and do more. And you can see all of them work as expected. You know, there's nothing special about those methods. Now, if I take AC1, remember AC1 is an abstract class reference. It's referring to something we know is going to be a subclass object. So I can take AC1, so I can take this here, and I watch what happens if I try to do these two methods. So I'm going to just copy this, and change this to AC1. So you'll notice it compiles with no issue. Then I can run it. So let me bring my client back up. And it works as expected. So the methods do something and do more were abstract in the abstract class. So I can call those methods from an abstract class reference, because we know this abstract class reference refers to some subclass object where that method will be defined. And so it will correctly call that method that's been defined. So we have some nice behavior that we're saying this behavior is going to exist, this method's going to exist, but we're not going to define it yet. And that way, when you create those references, like I can have an array list of these references, of abstract class references, and I could call these methods because I know they're written in your subclasses. So let's look at, no, that we'll call this video done, and we'll do another video where we'll go into more realistic examples, less theoretical examples of abstract classes. Thank you very much and have a good day.